Hi, and thanks for joining us. Each year, cybersecurity threats grow more sophisticated, and schools continue to be a frequent target. From phishing emails to ransomware attacks, malicious actors are taking advantage of our increased reliance on digital tools. These attacks can compromise sensitive data, interrupt teaching and learning, and impact an entire school community. While no school or individual is immune, creating a culture of awareness and responsible technology use is one of the most effective ways to reduce risk and protect sensitive information. In this video, we'll highlight key practices that help protect student and staff data, strengthen system security, and reinforce your district's privacy and security efforts. Let's get started.
In education, there are numerous laws and regulations that educational agencies must adhere to while providing an education to students. Within this section, we are going to preview some of the more prominent laws that pertain to student and staff data privacy and security. Let's start with New York State Education Law 2D and its accompanying Part 121 regulations. The purpose behind Ed Law 2D is to protect the personally identifiable information, or PII, of students, as well as teacher and principal information related to performance evaluation. Particular focus is given to data shared with third parties and the contractual protections that must be in place with every third party who receives student PII. In this law, there are 9 areas on which districts are required to focus. Protect student PII and staff evaluation information, align data privacy and security practices to the NIST cybersecurity framework, identify a data protection officer for the district, conduct annual employee training, post supplemental information for third-party contracts, adopt and post a Parent's Bill of Rights for data privacy and security, adopt a data privacy and security policy, develop and implement parent complaint procedures for student data privacy concerns, notify affected individuals and the State Education Department in the event of an unauthorized disclosure of PII. Next, we'll talk about the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, commonly known as FERPA. FERPA outlines parents' rights regarding their child's educational records. Under FERPA, districts are required to keep student records secure. Student records refer to information about a student relevant to their academic career, such as biographical information, grades, special education records, disciplinary records, and other types of sensitive data. FERPA provides parents with the ability to view their child's records, request changes to correct inaccuracies, as well as requires consent prior to their students' information being disclosed to outside entities. There are exceptions to what can be disclosed and to whom, so if you're unsure, verify with your data protection officer. Finally, the Children's Internet Protection Act, or CIPA, is designed to protect minors from harmful online content while ensuring they have access to educational resources available on the Internet. CIPA requires the adoption of Internet safety policies that outline protections in place for minors. The most prominent of those required protections are for Internet filtering that, at minimum, blocks access to obscene, pornographic, or harmful material for minors, and to restrict accessibility to chat rooms, direct electronic communications with external entities. As K-12 education is a heavily regulated public space, district staff should consult with administration and their data protection officer as they look to implement new systems or utilize protected information managed by their agency.
Phishing is a cyber attack where someone tries to trick you, usually through email, into sharing sensitive information like your login credentials or downloading and installing malicious software. These emails often look legitimate. They might even appear to come from your superintendent, a vendor, or another colleague. Phishing is by far the most common entry point for an attacker to gain a foothold within your organization's environment, so it's critical to be mindful and recognize the warning signs. In schools, phishing attacks often target staff with emails that ask you to click on a fake Google Doc or Microsoft login page, pretend to be a request from tech support or payroll, and request urgent action like verifying your credentials or approving a purchase order. Here's a real-world example. A teacher receives an email saying her email storage is full, and to avoid suspension, she must click the link to log in. The link looks official, but it's actually collecting her username and password. Once the attackers have access, they may send more phishing emails from your account, access sensitive student records, or use the account to pivot into other systems and gain additional access. Vishing stands for voice phishing, using phone calls instead of emails to scam you. These calls often impersonate IT support, administrators, or even state education departments. In schools, vishing may sound like this.
Hi, I'm calling from the district help desk. We're seeing some unusual activity on your computer. Can you confirm your login so we can reset your account?
They may even imitate the district's phone number to make it look more convincing. Never share passwords over the phone, even if the call sounds official. Here are some key takeaways for phishing and vishing. 1. Stop and think if what the email is asking you makes sense. 2. Be sure you know, before clicking on a link, where it is taking you. 3. Verify the sender's full email address by clicking on the sending address and not relying on the sender's display name or the email signature. 4. Do not reply to any suspected phishing emails. And number 5, do not provide any sensitive information or alternative methods of contact.
Ransomware is a type of malware that locks your files or systems until a ransom is paid. It encrypts critical data and renders most of the organization's technology unusable. Ransomware usually gets in through the following methods: compromised account credentials of legitimate users, an infected file brought into the network through mediums like email, Google Drive shares, thumb drives, or personal devices, visiting a website that drops malicious files onto a user's device. Once inside, it can spread quickly, locking student records, payroll systems, and even transportation or cafeteria systems. Certain ransomware variants are also designed to steal and exfiltrate data. Districts have been forced to shut down for days or even weeks due to ransomware, and in many cases spend tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in ransom payments and remediation costs. Staff may lose access to email, gradebooks, documentation, financial systems, critical files, building access systems, environmental controls, communication systems, and many other systems that are required to run a district. Let's break down the impact on a district. Time. Remediation and recovery activities often take weeks, regardless of whether the ransom is paid or not. IT teams must restore data, rebuild systems, and verify security or the environment. Labor. Staff may have to re-enter grades, reschedule meetings, or recreate entire lesson plans. Cost. Beyond the ransom, there are costs for forensic investigations, software replacements, and public relations efforts. Trust. Family and staff may lose confidence in the district's ability to protect data. Even after all that, paying the ransom does not guarantee your data will be restored or is safe from leaks, which is why it is often not advisable to pay the ransom. Here are some key takeaways concerning ransomware. Ransomware can be devastating to organizational operations for a long time. Ransomware often starts with a phishing email. Don't click on those suspicious links. Backups can save you after an attack, but without strong prevention in place, you're still at serious risk. If you notice many files renamed or access blocked, report it immediately. It could be a sign of ransomware.
There are 5 things you can do to protect yourself and organization as we move forward this school year. 1. Follow your organization's policies. Many of your organization's privacy and security policies or protocols can usually be found within your employee handbook and posted on your district's website. Any additional related policies will be available within your Board of Education Policies section. If you have any difficulty finding these or have any questions, please make sure you reach out to your supervisor or district's data protection officer. 2. Lock your workstation or device. Try to make it a habit to lock your workstation, laptop, or any other device when you are away from them. A locked device is the first line of defense against any unauthorized person who may try to physically access the device. That may be an unsupervised student within the building, a thief who's stolen your laptop out of your car, or a curious family member seeking additional information from an unattended device. 3. Never assume someone is who they say they are. Always verify. With the availability of artificial intelligence, or AI, it is becoming easier for bad actors to impersonate individuals or coworkers within your organization. By using AI tools, attackers can quickly craft messages with more realistic context to your organization, while eliminating many of the red flags we're used to seeing, such as unnatural language and poor translation. If you do not recognize or are not anticipating a communication, always make sure and take a moment to verify that that person is who they say they are. 4. Make sure you are using unique, strong passwords. A strong password is a great line of defense. Password length is the most critical component of a password. The longer, the better. Also, try to include both upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. When choosing a password, be sure to avoid using personal information, such as birth dates, hometowns, your kids' names, or other information easily discoverable on social media. The use of a passphrase instead of just a random word or a mix of characters may help you create and remember longer passwords. Passwords should be unique to each system, especially for those systems that house sensitive information. Otherwise, a compromised password in one system can grow to a much larger incident. Whether at work or personally leveraged, make sure you're utilizing multi-factor authentication whenever possible. It is a great way to enhance the protection provided by your password. Finally, always report suspicious activity immediately. If you ever encounter something suspicious, always report it to your supervisor, director of technology, or data protection officer. Early detection can drastically reduce the amount of time and effort that is spent to respond and recover from an incident.
Data privacy and security aren't always front of mind, but the way we handle information each day has a real impact on the lives of our students. It's critical we're thoughtful when making decisions about how we utilize and share their personal information. While it's important we follow sometimes complex legal and regulatory requirements, simple habits like locking your device, using strong passwords, and taking a moment to verify unexpected messages can go a long way in keeping things secure and minimizing disruptions. For more guidance, visit ric1.org or contact your district's technology leadership team. Thanks for watching.